What is up, guys and gals out there? Thanks for joining me here on my live cast here tonight. Steve Sturgill's the channel and the name. Looking at yet another tobacco-based scent. This time, as I promised last night, for those who have watched or were part of the live cast, looking at this guy from France, País 902 Armagnac, Tabac Blonde, and Cannelle. And Cannelle means, like Spanish, canela means cinnamon. So you've got your blonde tobacco and your Armagnac note. Nice, light golden juice. Pretty simple presentation, a little clear plastic cap. Note about this spray head, which I'll spray this way. Hope the camera can pick this up. Well, let me move my coffee. I don't want to get this. As much as I like the juice, I don't want to go inside my cappuccino. Let me just set this over here. Okay. See if this can pick it up. Let's see. Yeah. Why did I want to do that? I want to show you that I think there is now such a thing as too well misted. I think this spray head it overly mists, it overly atomizes the juice, making it almost just vaporous and cloud-like. I mean, I wouldn't mind some actual wet, moist alcohol, cologne, or eau de toilette or parfum actually getting on my skin. But this is so light, I find that I kind of have to go over each area at least twice. That's just my personal opinion for this delivery system. But other than that, I mean, each to their own. Some people like way less product on them than other people. I tend to go heavy. It's just my style. Only ones I won't go heavy with are scents that are just like atomic, nuclear. Those are scents that I've learned don't go past 3 or 4 sprays max. It's just not worth it. But this one also, on another note, this is not anywhere near nuclear. It's good. It's decent. It's nowhere near nuclear, so I think you can easily get away with something like 902 Armagnac, Tabac Blanc, Cannelle. You can overspray to your heart's desire pretty much within reason. Let's get into the notes, and we'll talk about pricing down the road and what this. It is actually. Is it eau de parfum? Yeah, it is an eau de parfum, which I thought it was. Wasn't 100% sure. It's a 100 mils bottle, 3.4 ounce. So it's considered a chypre, fruity. We'll get into why that is in a second. Again, the main notes are Armagnac, blonde tobacco, cinnamon, but there's also a lot of other things in here. The notes on this guy's was Karine Dubreuil, and she has quite a resume. You can check out Karine's page either for Grantica or look her up under base notes or other websites, as the case may be. Top notes are going to include orange, basil, ginger, and cognac, or Armagnac, really. I don't know if it's really cognac or Armagnac. I'm going to go with Armagnac since that's the main listing. And we'll talk about what is the difference between Armagnac and cognac. If indeed they have used Armagnac, I don't want to say that they've used cognac, because although they're both brandies and they're both French, they're not the same thing. And it's not fair to call them identical. They're not. They're similar, but yet very distinct. And we'll get into some of that down the road. In the mids, you're going to get cinnamon, cloves, geranium, and plum. I know Mark loves the note of plum. I think Max as well, Max 40. And Mark Robso 8 out of Canada are both big fans of the note of plum. And I'm really no exception. While it's not at the top of my scent pyramid, I really have learned to really enjoy a good plum note in fragrances. I think it just adds a really juicy, sensual, fruity element to sometimes otherwise a little bit staid, a little bit humdrum, normal type blends, if you will. Not that they're bad, but that without that note, it may stay somewhat very conventional. Okay, then in defining the base, we come to the base now. Patchouli, labdanum, vanilla, and tobacco. Now, again, the tobacco in here, guys, is considered a blonde tobacco. I guess if it makes it easier for you to imagine, just think of a really, really slightly dry, not maybe slightly moist, more so on the dry side. Really, really plain Jane pipe tobacco. Just no fruit in it, very mild. Um, just really, really simple. And that's really the only tobacco that I get in here. But the vanilla is quite prominent. The geranium is quite evident. The cloves is pretty obvious. The Armagnac note really, really stands out. I think the ginger, it's slightly obvious if you really, really are patient and you know what to look for. But the thing with ginger is, to me, it's blending with the geranium so well that they're kind of almost indistinct from one another. I'm not saying that geranium and ginger smell identical, but they have facets that, when blended together, just create this very similar sort of paste or goulash effect that smells kind of like geranium and it smells kind of like ginger. That's all I can say to that. There's basil in here, lending just a little hint of sort of the gourmand herbaceousness, that a cook or a gardener would be familiar with. Cinnamon is very, very light. This is not a cinnamon pronounced scent. If you're thinking of cinnamon, it's here, but it's barely here. It's in the background. It's very light. It's very mild. Don't get your hopes up if you're looking for a cinnamon bomb. This is not that scent. Likewise, the plum, while slightly evident into the mids, lending somewhat of a nice little tart, um, slightly juicy, slightly almost like a dry plum note. It's not that sensational, and it's not that doesn't have a whole lot of sizzle or and wow factor, but it's there. Again, this does feature orange in the top note, but that orange really kind of blends in really, really well, maybe too well, with the Armagnac, which already in and of itself can often have sort of a Grand Marnier effect. Not that this is Grand Marnier, but it can have sort of that little boozy, fruity tinge. And for whatever reason, I guess they just didn't go real heavy with the orange. It's blended quite well. It smells grown up. It smells mature. It smells. I wouldn't so much say it smells sexy as sensual. I think there's a little difference. Speaking for a second on the base, the patchouli lab and the labdanum in particular, they're very mild. I mean, they're there, not to any huge extent. I mean, it's not like a patchouli powerhouse. It's very mild. It's very, very well blended. In fact, I would say I only have three mild complaints with this scent. It's worth checking out for sure. Let me get that out of the way. It's definitely worth checking out. While we're on that subject, let me just talk about pricing. You can get these straight delivered to your house in the US, and I believe in Canada as well, probably Mexico as well, probably South America as well. I don't know, maybe all over the world, but for sure here in North America. You can get these delivered straight from France to your house for $115 US. That is unfreaking believable. Mind blown for what I consider sort of a pseudo niche, well-established designer house in Paris. So that being said, I think this house offers a tremendous value, and also they offer probably like, I think they have around 40 cents, if I'm not mistaken, maybe a little bit less, but it's a pretty huge number, whatever number that is, and they appear to be adding like every other year or something, 1 or 2 or 3 cents to the catalog. They have a lot of scents that I would just love, love, love to get my nose on. And while I'm on that subject, let me mention that they did for free. They sent me these two samples, which I'm blown away by. This is 601 and this is 901. And I'll talk about those around the time that we closed the live session out. Help me to remember if I forget, but I'll try to remember that. Okay, so back to the scent. Yeah, it smells really nice. If it were me, if it were my taste, I would have gone way, way harder with the tobacco and the cinnamon. I would have amped up the plum quite a bit. I would have amped up the patchouli just a bit. Vanilla's fine. I probably would have left that alone. Maybe amped it up just a slight tad. And I would have definitely added quite a bit more orange and the Armagnac cognac note it's fine. It's obviously there. It obviously smells like that. You get that oaky, boozy Armagnac cognac type vibe or smell. But I think if it were me, I would have gone even heavier with that. I would have made it even richer and more resinous. I might have also added something like Peru balsam. I might have added just the tiniest hint of incense. And I definitely would have probably amped up the ginger. I don't think I would have added oud. I'm starting to get ouded out. I love me some oud in the winter, but just it seems like everybody and their uncles are throwing oud at everything. And I think it's just time to pump the brakes. And I love me some oud. Don't get me wrong, guys. I'm not an oud. I'm an oud lover for sure, but I think it doesn't have to be in every single frickin' fragrance out there to be interesting. But I'm a huge tobacco head, so once I don't see the tobacco's not in fragrance, I kind of start losing interest almost immediately. I know that's probably ridiculous, and I do have some great fragrances that have zero tobacco in them, but that's a topic for another time. Any last minute things I want to say about this? I don't think so. It's definitely worth checking out. Let me get back to my live cast page. Okay, at any rate, before I forget, yeah. So anyways, guys, this has been my take on 902 Bon Parfumeur, Parfumeur, Armagnac, Tabac Blanc, Cannelle. Again, ideas that you're going to basically be eating Armagnac or Cognac. Again, they're not the same, and I'm not an expert. I'll just tell you real briefly what the difference is between Cognac and Armagnac. Armagnac is made in Gascony and in southwest France primarily, and Cognac obviously is made in the Cognac region. And yes, they are both brandies. There's a little bit of differences between some of the oak barrels and a little bit of the aging dealio facet. To my understanding, to my limited understanding, Armagnac is a little not slightly. It's a good bit less alcohol by volume than Cognac. Cognac has to reach about 71% weight or by volume, however that is. Armagnac only has to reach about 50, I want to say 52%. I think 52%, correct me if I'm wrong. So Cognac tends to be quite a bit stronger. Otherwise, yes, they taste very similar. Yes, they're both brandy. Yes, they're both French. Yes, they're both phenomenal if you like those types of distilled spirits. And yes, they're both made from grapes. I'm not sure that they're made from the same varietal. Maybe not. Don't remember on that one for sure. At any rate, they're both made. And you do get, while I'm on that topic, guys, you do get a really light little grapey juice essence here. And you can almost sort of smell that facet of the white-green grapes or the white grapes. I'm not sure what color they were. You do get that facet in here. It's quite interesting to know that you're kind of smelling a byproduct of grapes. So that's kind of cool. That's going to do it on that. Let me briefly tell you what 601 and what 901 do. By the way, I've already slightly sampled them, but I'm going to sample them later in a much better way. But let me tell you what they offer or what they smell like. I mean, as far as the note breakdown, right? Coming over to the Bon Parfumeur, Bon Parfumeur, page, and let's see, 801. We'll start with 801. Yeah, I think it's 801 or 601. Oh no, 601. My bad, 601. 601, guys. I'm a huge fan of vetiver and cedar, and I like me some bergamot. This is all about literally vetiver. This little green one with the 601, cedar and bergamot. And a nose behind this one is Natalie Kubus. I hope I'm saying that right. Launched in 2017. You're going to get pink pepper, bergamot, grapefruit. In the mids, you'll get pepper and violet. In the base, cedar, sandalwood, and vetiver. And I'm telling you here, guys, this is a solid, fantastic addition to anyone's wardrobe. But stay tuned for the full review down the road. Pretty darn good juice. Quite impressive. The house is very impressive to me. Then let's take a quick look at 901 while we're at it. 901 is a beautiful concoction. You're going to get, you're going to get, it's considered an Oriental spicy. And by the way, guys, if I didn't say it earlier, these are all unisex. None of these are women only or men only. So nutmeg, almond, and patchouli. That's the main trident or trifecta trio. It's the main notes and accords that this is about. You're going to get a big, heavy dose of nutmeg, almond, and patchouli. But yes, wait, there's more. There's a lot of other stuff going on in this fragrance. We have mandarin orange, grapefruit, and ginger. In the mids, black pepper, pimento, white wood, nutmeg, and almond. And in the base, patchouli, musk, tonka bean, and vanilla. Guys, if any of this sounds good to you, you need to get your nose on 901 Bon Parfumeur. Really, really good juice. But we'll get into that later on my official review. Down the road, and if you don't mind, I'm going to take a sip of my cappuccino before it cools down too much. Okay. Other news before we close tonight, kind of exciting. I've got a couple of John Varvatos' tried and true concoctions coming. I'm not going to tell you which ones. You have to tune in for that. I also have 2 full bottles of Frappant coming. And I'm not going to name the names of those either. But hint, hint, I like tobacco. I'm going to leave it at that. Cannot wait to give you the full drop, an excursion with those 2 Frappants, which are known obviously for cognac in Cognac, France. So that's going to be very exciting as well. Good stuff coming down the pipeline. That's going to do it, guys. I don't know where my usual crowd is tonight. I'm really kind of shocked that not even one soul showed up for the live cast. But last night I had a plethora. It's yin and yang, baby. I'm not mad at you. We've all got real life to live, stuff to do. It's late at night and it's a Wednesday. I get it, man. You're probably at the movies or watching cable, binge watching, or maybe you're sound asleep, getting ready for tomorrow. Hey, it's your world, and I'm just a squirrel in a tree trying to get a nut. So, at any rate, spray often, spray well. Live life on your terms, baby, not anyone else's. It's too short. Why would you? Love you guys. Peace out. Oh, big shout out to Carlos, BFL, Carlos, and Stephen Redolescence. Huge congrats on hitting 45,000 Carlos and 90,000 subscribers, Stephen Redolescence. And shout out Jeremy Fragrance for winning Influencer of the Year. It is what it is. I'm not here to hate on anybody, and we all have our differences. And seriously, I can still, man to man, congratulations, Jeremy. Peace out, guys. Love you. We'll see you down the road. Adieu. Adios. Arrivederci. Bonsoir.